What's up, y'all? This is Conscious One coming at you. Back with some random topics. This seems to be my best audios that I do is when I just randomly choose to talk about topics that I may or may not want to talk about. Topics that I feel will be beneficial to once again um, allow me to hear myself, share my experiences not only with strangers, but to, close out, uh, close out. I don't know if that's the word, but to just to come to a conclusion about things that happen in my life that still pops up in my brain every now and then. I start off by telling y'all a story about, I went to acting school around the age of 19 at a college called Columbia College in Chicago. And I was, again, it was a performing arts school. And I was studying to learn how to be. I was learning everything about film. Basically, I was learning all aspects of film as far as acting, script writing, editing, and I really enjoyed this because we watched one of the professors that I had. We used to watch movies like Casablanca and Citizen Kane, and then at the end of the movie, we would analyze different parts of the movie and as far as how it related to what was going on at the time that the films were made, as well as to analyze how these films may or may not be, affecting our own personal lives. I really enjoyed this. I actually thought at one point in my life I was going to be an actor. I was going to be into film. And I can tell you guys right now, it's like what George Carlin said. It's a secret club out there, and you're not in it. You know, um, I was very good at what I did, especially improvisation. I remember a professor telling me, wait until everybody left the class, and taking me out in the hallway and telling me on a personal level that I could, actually pursue what I was doing seriously, because I had some skills. I had some skills. Again, I was able to do a lot of improv improvisation, and oftentimes I did it very well because I grew up the only child in the house growing up, and I had a lot of time to think about things. I understood how to be objective and subjective, and I was able to go from being objective subjective and from subjective to objective without any real interference, as far as the personalities you have to put on when you playing a part, and it's like, man, I think about those times, and I was even doing, little so-called modeling, which I wasn't calling modeling. Basically, I would go to a studio and I wear different clothes, and I would take pictures, get professional pictures taken of myself. I just started at the age of 18, and you're so impressionable when you're young. You see people on TV, whether they're basketball players, singers, actors, and you see that these people make a lot of money, and you assume that, hey, why can I do that? Why can I not do that? And so I just go into a story about I was actually went on to attend another college where it was a university, but I went right into the performing arts genre, and I was taking this acting course. And once again, teacher there noticed I had exceptional, good skills at improvisation. I remember he hooked me. Well, I remember when the class first started, he had all of us choose a partner to be with in the class. Like he would say, Okay, he sat there and he called out everybody's name and who was gonna be their partner in that class. And to this day, when I think about it, I say, I wonder what was the purpose of that. You know what I mean? But he hooked me up with this pretty chick. I never forget her name. Her name was Sabina. I think she was like, mm, she she was either Serbian or Russian. I can't quite recall. She was either Serbian or Russian, but her name was Sabina, and she was gonna my teacher assigned me my male. He was a male, by the way. He assigned me to this woman, um, and we would talk, and of course we had to sit by your partner in class, and so I started developing a good dialogue with this woman, and we became kind of little but friendly, like buddies. And I remember talking to her outside of class. We were outside, and I told her basically, how much I wanted to see her, after class, and why don't we go out and have lunch and do this or do that. Now, at the time, I was actually married to my high school sweetheart, so to speak. And I was only 19 years old. Got married earlier, and the only reason we got married is because we were able to get our tuition, most of it paid for. And so we both said, well, since we were already sexually involved with each other and already living together at that point, why not get married and take advantage of the tuition fees getting waived? It was a Puerto Rican woman who I was married to, the same woman I told you guys that came home, and another guy was in a bed and stuff like that. And so we had got to the point in the relationship where I guess we both start um, tiptoeing outside a relationship. Although I actually never cheated on her, um, sexually at least. And so again, going back to the story with this woman Sabina, who was now my acting partner, and we were meeting places for coffee and having these great philosophical conversations, and we got really comfortable with each other. And I remember uh, came back to class. Our teacher wanted us to hook up with our partner after class to, we had a certain homework assignment that we have to deal with. And I remember this woman invited me to her apartment. I even went so far to tell my wife that I met this woman, and that, I was going to her apartment to, I was never the type to hide anything from any woman I was dating, or in this situation, a woman I was married to. I never hid anything. And oh man, I gotta put my foot in this massager because this story is this story is starting to stress me out. But I went over to her apartment one night, and I found out, of course, that she was, you know, staying with a guy. I can't really remember if they were married or not, but she had a guy she was living with, and I went over to her apartment, and she was there by herself, of course. I don't know where this guy's whereabouts was at the time. Really didn't care too much. And I remember we were doing the homework and going over our acting scenes for the next day in class and things of this nature. And didn't end up doing anything with her that night. I actually had a lot of guilt in my mind about making out with this woman and actually coming home to my wife. And I took my relationship with her pretty seriously. Of course, I was very young. I wanted it to work out though, and again, I didn't end up doing anything that first time I went over to this chick's house to go over our scenes together. And then I remember, after I went through it and I cheated on my wife, I said, oh, I passed the test. I didn't cheat. I didn't do anything. And so I remember next time me and Sabina, we met up for coffee. And I went on to explain to her how, I know I came off a certain way with her, but I told her in actuality, yeah, I didn't want to have anything to do with her on a sexual level, and I told her how liberated I felt, that I didn't want to have anything to do with her on that level, and how I felt good just being friends with her and things of this nature. And I thought it was like all good. You know, it was cool. I passed the test. I had a wife at home anyway to attend to. And I thought the whole thing was just squashed pretty much on that level. That anything sexual was going to happen between us. And so I remember one day we had a scene that we had to do in front of the class. It was a theater style classroom, and me and Sabina, we had already practiced our scenes and how we were going to do and what we were going to do. And we was going to actually pretend like we got into an argument, and I think she was supposed to smack me and stuff like that. And so I remember doing a skit with her, doing the scene in front of the classroom with her. And I remember we got to the part where she was supposed to smack me, and I'm telling you guys, she laid it out on me. All right, when I say laid it, she smacked me so hard at the part she was supposed to smack me that even I was shocked. And I just remember how the whole classroom just gasped. All you can hear was, and even I was like, because she had smacked me so hard that literally I had I I had visions of my past lives. She smacked me so hard, and it took me years to realize that that woman actually smacked me hard like that on purpose, based on what I had told her the previous night, as far as me not wanting to have any kind of sexual relations with her, and how I was comfortable with that as just being friends with her. Well, women that you tell that to, guys, a lot of women have stories about guys trying to get in bed with them. But on the flip side, and I'm not scared to admit this as a guy, there are women that I have turned down sexually in my life who took it very personal. They took it as if I wasn't trying to sleep with them on the first or second date. One woman even asked me, was I gay one time? I ended up sleeping with her, but I was actually sick that day. I had a real bad cold. That's a whole nother story. I'll save that for later. But this woman was Serbian, by the way. Um, I don't know. It just seemed like I had a thing with getting with these Middle Eastern European women for some reason. And so I just wanted to tell y'all that little story. It's like I was the guy who, if I didn't approach women, if I didn't try to approach women, sexually on a first or second date, they became extremely offended and insecure with themselves. And so a lot of females out there, sometimes some females may wonder why guys are trying to be so aggressive and getting their pants. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it can have to do with the way they've been trained by other women. We've been trained that that's what we're supposed to go after, and in one way or another, whether women want to believe it or not, they're actually brainwashed to think that that's the way it's supposed to be too. So if you have 50 guys trying to get in bed with you, and one guy tells you he likes you and he's not trying to sleep with you on the first or second date, you're gonna start you may subconsciously, if not consciously, but subconsciously start to think maybe something's wrong with you, or you're not attractive enough to this guy. Okay. And so I just want to tell y'all that little story. But yeah, that smacked it. When she smacked me like that in front of the class, oh man, my face was burning for like 2 or 3 hours. It was I have never been smacked like that in my life. I don't even think by my mother. Funny story. But just to go from that and to go into something else, this topic, I'm gonna get a little rated R, X-rated here. So if y'all don't want to hear this part, I suggest you turn it off. If you do, keep listening. But a lot of guys want to know how to make a woman come and stuff like this. The Puerto Rican woman that I was married to, we were the spark in the sexual department lasted for a really long time. Um, part of it was I was able to learn how to make her come, and come basically on command. And to any guy, I want to know, like some guys want to know, man, how do I make a girl squirt all over how do I make a girl squirt all over the floor like that? Like, I've seen that in pornos, but I've never done it to a woman. Like, what can I do to make a woman come like that? Right? And I'm just gonna tell you guys, for y'all who haven't done it before, the way you make a woman come like that, consider this fact or theory that you have masculine energy, she has feminine energy, you are the positive end, she is the negative end, she's always receiving, right? Well, I figured out, in order to make a woman squirt like that, and I'm talking about literally just so much water coming out of her, you don't even know how can somebody even have that much liquid fluid in their body without it being officially urine, you know what I mean? And the way you do that, I swear I'm dropping jewels on this. When you're having sex with a woman, you being a positive side and her being a negative side, there comes a point in time that when you are, I'll just use a slang, where you are hitting that pussy good, it comes a point where you have to turn that positive energy into a negative energy. Say, how do I do that? Well, consider that man is 60% man and 40% woman, and woman is 60% man and 40% male. When those two energies combine together, they can actually switch places sometimes. This is why you guys see certain things going on in pornos where it almost seems like the guy is assuming a feminine position all of a